Okay, so this is question 2 from the review, or at least the second question that I specifically suggested you look at. It's number 15 on 245, as you can see. Um, let's see. Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? The main points here in the question, we're dealing with two angles, x and y, both of which are in the first quadrant. I suppose I could have flipped these around to make them look like first quadrant. And the information we're given obviously is going to help us establish what the other values are. The question actually says determine the exact value for cos x, determine the exact value for cos or for sine y, and eventually find sine x plus y. So really, this is all that you're really trying to get to. We need to do the other parts to get there, though. So we want to figure out what sine x plus y is. So if sine x is 4 over 5, that means my opposite is 4. My hypotenuse is 5. Cos of y is 7 over 25. Not a very well-drawn diagram, perhaps, but I'm not too concerned about that. The adjacent is 7. The hypotenuse is 25. And if you don't know, 3, 4, 5 is a pretty standard right angle triangle. Pretty common one for us to deal with. If you didn't know what that was, basically you have to use your Pythagorean theorem. And you're missing the other side. 25 minus 4 squared is 16. Subtract it to the other side here. And you see that 9 is b squared, or b is 3. And of course, we don't need the plus or minus there because we're talking about the length of the line, the length of the side here, so it can only be positive. Following this same sort of Pythagorean idea, we can find that this is 24. I'll leave you to do that if you're concerned at all. But basically 25 squared equals 7 squared plus b squared. Okay, so I lied. I'll do a little bit of it, but I'm not going to do the rest of it. Okay, so that's where you're, oh, that's lovely work. So this is what your basic equation is, and then solve that for b, you find that it's 24. So what we need to know then, what are sine and cos? What are the missing sine and cos? We have sine of x. We don't have cos of x. Cos of x, though, will be the adjacent over the hypotenuse, or simply 3 over 5. Over here, same idea. Sine is the one I'm looking for. 24 over 25. Sine of y is 24 over 25. Okay, so now really again the goal, the actual question is to determine what sine of x plus y is. Again, one of the formulas you'll be given is that sine x plus y expands to sine x cos y plus sine y cos x. And now if I take that further, equals sine of x, we know right up here is 4/5. I guess I don't have to give myself extra space now. So 4/5 cos of y is the 7/25. Sine of y is 24/25. And y, I can give myself a little bit extra room, I'm not sure anymore. And then cos x is the 3/5. Now, just a note here, you can't, we don't have the situation here, but if we had the ability to simplify here, this is 4 over 5, this is 7 over 24. If you take a peek at both sides and see that they don't both simplify, then there's not a lot of reason to do it because you're going to need a common denominator in a minute anyways, and so just leaving it common is probably pretty sensible here. Now, if I'm solving this, give me a sec here. Okay, sorry about that. If we multiply these out now, we get 4 times 7 is 28 in the numerator. 5 times 25 is 125 in the denominator. Over here, 72, 24 times 3, and again 125 in the denominator. And now basically I've got 8 plus 2 is 10, and that is 10 again. 100 out of 125. And if I'm going to simplify that, these both divide by 25. 100 divided by 25 is 4. 125 divided by 5, sorry, by 25 is 5. Now, I don't know if that's the right answer. I haven't checked, but I'm going to right now, and hopefully it will be. If I don't come back, it's because I was pretty happy with the answer. Okay, so that looks good. 4/5 is your answer. So again, key points here. I didn't really focus on it, but the first quadrant is quite important here because it ensures that I know my cosine, my sine will all be positive. If I were in a different quadrant and I had sine, second quadrant, for example, if this were positive in the second quadrant, I'd want to recognize that cos would end up being negative just because I'm in the second quadrant. Same sort of thing here. Cos could be positive in the fourth quadrant, but the sine value would have been negative. So that's kind of the only important part of the quadrant you're in. Does the other one become positive or negative? The one you're given, of course, we're told whether it's positive or negative. We do have to figure out the other one, and it'll be positive or negative based on where it occurs. After that, using the Pythagorean theorem to find the missing values, and then again, this is given to you, this equation that sine x plus y is equal to sine x plus cos y plus sine y plus times cos x. And then, of course, you have to plug in the values and work with the fractions a little bit. I'll leave that one there.